This is my dyno room. This is where I test all the engines I built. But now I have a little issue with the dyno. Hi, I'm Nick and welcome to my shop. If you guys take a good look, my test mule, test engine from the Kowalski Challenger that I had in my car, I removed it from the car and I put it back on a dyno. Why did I put it back on a dyno? Of course, it's a test engine. This is what it's built for.
Before it was here in Nick's dyno room, the Test Mule 440 spent the last few years in Nick's 1970 Challenger, the Kowalski Special. But now he's put the numbers matching engine back in the car. He can put the mule back to work. But before he can proceed with testing, he wants to sort out a problem with the dyno itself.
I had an issue at one time. I remember putting George's 6-cylinder. When that 6-cylinder was on a dyno, I was trying to load it up under 2,000 RPMs to get the torque readings at a very low RPM. I had a hard time. You know, he was making torque at 1,800, but I couldn't get it under 2,000 RPM. So for me to go to 18, I had an issue. I programmed the computer on my dyno to go to 1,800 RPMs and start my test at 1,800 RPM. I couldn't do it. I tried. It went down to the minimum 2,000. And I know I was making more torque under 2,000, but I couldn't get that reading. So I was confused and I said, let me call Superflow. I spoke to them and they told me, you know what, maybe you don't have enough water, maybe not enough pressure or volume. I'm not so sure. But anyways, we did finish the testing with the 6-cylinder for George on his 64 Bel Air. And you know, it was been on my head for a long time. So since then I said, you know what, I'm going to put my test mule back on the dyno and get back to where I started with the 6-cylinder. So this engine here, I'm trying to get it started at 2,500 RPM. So we got it running and the minimum I got was 2,900 RPM, loaded, full throttle, and I couldn't get it to 25 where I set it on my computer on the dyno. If you can take a look right here, lower RPM is where it should start. This is where I'm loading it. I made some tests and I couldn't go below 2,900 RPM. And it was making maximum torque right before that RPM, but I couldn't get it. So now, my absorber on the dyno runs on water. It has an impeller that works with water. It works like a clutch. You know what absorbs the RPM and locks the RPM like when you load up an engine. It works on water. So the water supply that comes into my dyno comes from the city water line. And then I called my plumber if he could do anything for me. How do I bring more water to my dyno or more pressure? So I had my gauge right here, my water pressure gauge that comes down that feeds the water to the absorber, which I'm going to show you in a sec. It was at 60, 70 pounds, and I wanted to bring it to minimum 40. But it was dropping down to 35, and I wasn't happy. And this is where the water supply goes, right here in my absorber. You can see the water line coming in here. It's pressurized. So when I load up that engine, trying to bring the RPM to 25, it would just stay stuck at 2,900 RPM. I couldn't do better than that. So this is where I ended up with today testing it. I've tried so many little things. I went back and forth with this engine. I couldn't get it to 2,500 RPM. So now I brought in my plumber to see what we can do for water supply for my absorber. Do we need more pressure? Do we need more volume? I'm not so sure. So we've been working on it. He did some things for me, installed the pump, and we did some more testing earlier. And we noticed that we got 100 more RPM less. Instead of testing it at 29, now we brought it to 28. My goal is 25. Well, we're not too far, but we still did not get it. So we got some more further testing to do with the plumber for now. But in the meantime, I left this 440 in the dyno so I could see if I could get the results on this what I want. Am I happy? Well, it works fine. But there are some engines that work at a low RPM. And that's what I need, like Georgia 6-cylinder and my 440 test mule. And then I got a Ford 6-cylinder coming up. If I could get on the dyno, I'm not sure yet. I'd like to see that at a very low RPM. But I like to have the water supply ready when the test comes. Just building engines is one thing, but trying to get the dyno to work with your engine is another source. So we have to keep going. I won't give up. I want to get it done. You know, I want to bring the engine as low as possible RPM to get the torque readings. Like some engines go to maximum torque at a very low RPM. This is my goal I want to do with my dyno. When it revs up, I got lots of water. I don't have any issues. It's just when I want to get it started at a low RPM to see my maximum torque at the most minimum RPM possible. Look how much work was involved just to get the maximum volume and pressure to my dyno. You know, there was a lot of money spent here. We're trying to work it out, but we're trying to see if we can nail it. We're not done yet. We're going to see what we're going to do. This is not going to stay like that. I'm sure we're going to do some changes. But in the meantime, I'm going to work with what I have for now, but I will get it done. It's going to be another challenge for me, but I won't give up. I realized that, you know, ever since I worked on that 6-cylinder for George, I try to bring it a lower RPM. A lot of my engines start after, they make their torque after 3,000 RPM, many engines that I built. But there's some that take a little bit less. Like this one here, I'm very surprised it was under 3,000 RPM. And of course, George's 6-cylinder woke me up. I said, you know what? How come? Okay, I've done a lot of tests with a lot of engines, but many of them were over 3,000 RPM, 2,900, not a problem. But now that I realize using my test mule, this thing with the cast iron intake makes torque under 27 or 2,800 RPM, and that's the number I want to read. Now, I did test it with an Edelbrock RPM Performer on it, but the torque came in at after 3,000 RPM. But this cast iron intake from the factory, it was under 3,000. And that is what I wanted to see, and that's why I want that water supply to work for me. And there you have it. So, you know, I had this 440 on the dyno for quite a while. We haven't done any videos yet, but stay tuned, you guys. We got a Chevy small block stroker coming up. We got a 528 Hemi with a blower coming up, and a few other engines, a couple of more Hemis. You know, I spoke to Superflow. If this affects any numbers on the torque readings or horsepower readings, it has no effect. It's only at the lower RPM where to activate the lowest torque numbers I can get at the lowest RPM. So I know that this dyno is accurate, and we've calibrated and we've checked it out, and it's perfect. The only problem I have is I want to get the low RPM torque numbers. That is the only problem. But besides that, everything else is good. I've got another engine coming on the dyno. It's going to be a long ram 413, and it's going to be a low RPM engine, maximum torque at a very low RPM, and I want to make sure I want to be ready. So that is why I'm testing everything I can to get this engine to run. So it's going to be pretty amazing when this 413 comes up with the cross ram. We're going to get it started with the 4-barrel, make sure everything goes mechanically well, take off the 4-barrel, put the long ram, and then take it from there. I just got back from Chicago, the McCacken show at the convention center. I wanted to give a big thank you to all our viewers, our visitors, my staff, my crew, and everybody that came to see me. And I hope to make it again next year. And I just want to say a very special thank you. I had a great time. It was a long drive. It was tiring. I was hoping to see more cars on my time, but maybe next year I'll do better and make more time for it. One of my favorite cars was the Batmobile. The 66 series TV show, which was always one of my favorites. I used to watch every Batman movie. And all the special pink cars, sassy grass green. And not only Mopars, GM, Ford, Chrysler, you name them. American Motors, they were there. Met some special people, great people. What more can you ask for? Met a lot of good people, and I want to thank everybody for having such a great time at the show at McCacken in Chicago. There was the Canadian Maple Leaf section. There was the Barn Find, which I liked very much. And of course, there was also the younger generation. I went to see them. It was just an honor to being and meeting all these people, the youngsters, and everybody what they go through. Because packing up, traveling, packing up a display, and then putting everything away, packing it up, and then driving home, it is very tiring. But you know what? This was one special show, and it's worth it. And if I'm going back next year, I hope so. We'll see what time brings. Okay, guys, I want to take a minute. I want to bring up Lucas because I have a lot of comments, emails, people asking me, what kind of oil you use in your engines? Well, I've built a lot of engines and I've always been using Lucas oil. I used to use different brands, but Lucas was my most favorite and my most common oil. I remember every engine, and still do on the dyno testing, I've always added a zinc additive. Why? Because in many engines that I've built, maybe 90-95% of my engines are flat tapping. And I've never gone wrong with motor oil from Lucas, which is the hard rod racing oil, or the classic, whatever you wish to call it. They've got both classic, racing oil, any grade you want, and it works fine. And I've never wiped out a cam, so I've done many engines. I've been very lucky. So why would I change? I would use it and keep using it forever. And of course, they have other products too. For example, we do car shows, and my friend Johnny likes to use the Lucas products. They've got detailing products for ceramic coating, paint jobs, or detailing. They've got everything you want to detail a car while on the show. Everything's in a bottle, spray can. All you need is a good cloth and get along with the show. They came in and they brought me all this detailing stuff. I'm not a guy into detailing cars or anything like that. My friend Johnny is. And he was with me when I looked at all these products. There's so much on the market by Lucas, but he was so impressed with what they have. And of course, with today's ethanol fuel, we need a conditioner. So they've got a fuel conditioner with ethanol. Also a stabilizer for winter storage. And if you have high compression, you need to increase your octane. They also have octane booster. And of course, if you guys, this is my favorite. My brother's had this at the store for many years. And I said, you know what, let me bring it here and show it off. It was kind of dusty, we cleaned it a bit. But just to show you, this is Lucas oil. You can see that all the gears have oil while we're doing this. Okay, you can see the gears still lubricated. Then you take the other competition oil. We do this. And you can see that's very thin film of oil coming down and through the gears, and then it just slides down. But Lucas has always worked for me. I've used it for many years, and the oil of the engine is the blood of the engine. Of course, the oil pump is your heart, but what does it pump? It pumps oil, like your blood in your body. Without it, it ain't gonna run and won't survive. But I've used these Lucas products. Yes, they got a lot of different things. You guys, there's a catalog on almost anything you need. Give them a call. Get what you want. It's the best stuff. With my original matching engine in my Kowalski Challenger, no other oil has been in that original engine. Since I built it, put it in the dyno, I've used Lucas, and now I put it in the car, did a couple of miles. I just did an oil change just earlier, and again, it's Lucas. After all, you guys, don't forget, that's my dream car. It's a matching engine 440 that belongs to that car. That's super rare. So if I feel good that I use Lucas in my car, I feel confident for you guys to use it in your car. Reading my comments, emails, even visitors that come into my shop. They ask me what kind of oil you use, what grade. I'll show them a Lucas, and that's what I've been using. And now even more often I use it now with all my clients that come into the shop for general maintenance. I use it all the time. You can't go wrong with Lucas. I'm going to start her up, make sure it's full, and we'll take it from there. I'm only going to run it for a few seconds. There it is. It's going up. How does it sound? Sounds good, doesn't it? Oil pressure's good, 1,000 RPM. Oil pressure's just on the money, right on. Look at that, perfect idle. Perfect, okay, shut it down. You know, you go to any racetrack, you've probably seen a Lucas sticker at the racetrack where somebody's wearing a shirt like myself or a sticker on the car. And don't forget, you can't go wrong with Lucas. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.